but we're giving you a live picture from Madison right now. This is a staging area, as you can see, near a gas station, a quick trip there, for when Madison police will give us an update on this. Here is what we know right now. Just before 11:30 this morning, reports first came in of a shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. This is a small private school on the east side of Madison. It serves students anywhere from kindergarten through high school. And later on, we got an update from Madison police saying there were multiple reports of injuries from this shooting at the school. That's as much as we know at this point, as we've heard from parents at the scene that they were trying to get updates on where their students and children were taken to from this school, both evacuated and sheltering in place there. And we are hoping to learn more from the chief of police in Madison, again, once that press conference starts any moment now. But what we know at this time in the state capitol, there are multiple reports of injuries after a school shooting. Let's take you there now to a live feed at the school. We are working both with our crews on their way to Madison, our reporting partners at different stations in the state capitol as well. And you can see in this live picture from Madison just the sheer amount of police vehicles that responded to this. If folks are familiar with the state capitol, this is on the east side of town. Again, Abundant Life Christian School on Buckeye Road there. It's actually east of Lake Monona, so not near the UW campus or the downtown state capitol complex, but instead on the east side. It's just south of the main interchange from I-94 and Interstate 90 there in Madison. And again, all we have heard at this point are that there were multiple injuries reported from this school, Abundant Life Christian School. As we are learning more, another just kind of sign of the times as we are so close to the holiday season here, just 9 days before the Christmas holiday, this Christian school held their Christmas concert just last Thursday. So you go from traditions and holidays and the joy of the season to what the parents and students and staff are experiencing now this morning into afternoon in Madison. To reset, this is again a small private school on the east side of the state capitol as we await an update from Madison police. The chief of police is supposed to address the media soon, but here's a map for you, giving you a reference. The two lakes there in the state capitol, but the school itself on the east side of town there, Abundant Life Christian School. And again, the kids are from as young as kindergarten age all the way through high school at this private school. You can see plenty of cars pulling up. You can imagine parents trying to get to that school, figure out where their children are, what exactly is happening here as we try to fill out more details for you on this school shooting here in Wisconsin. There's a long line of cars as we're seeing in this, again, in Madison. Police are supposed to give us an update any moment now. That's why we're staying here on the air with you. There is both the scene at the school in Madison and then a separate staging area where the chief of police is supposed to give an update on what they have learned. Both the Dane County Sheriff's Office and the Madison Police Department, as you can imagine, other law enforcement agencies all responded to this school just really within the last hour or so. The first reports we got here at Fox 6 in Milwaukee of this school shooting happened just before 11:30 this morning, so we're not even going on an hour quite at this point. Still a fair amount of traffic in the area as you're seeing those cars passing by in the foreground here. We are trying to get more information on what exactly is supposed to happen for parents trying to pick up their students and get them home safely as they get updates as well. The moment the chief of police has an update for us, we will take you to that staging area for more. But there was a Facebook post from the Madison Police Department relaying that there were multiple injuries reported in a school shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. We do not know the status of a possible shooter or what the response to that shooting exactly looked like. But so many schools across the state and across the nation, unfortunately, this is part of their preparation now, doing school shooter drills and how you respond to these threats across America. That's the case here in Milwaukee. That's the case throughout southeastern Wisconsin and in Madison as well. But that possibility, unfortunately, it seems, has become a reality for this private school in Madison. We have crews standing by, two of them, in fact, on the way to Madison from the Milwaukee area. We're also working with our sister stations in Madison to try to get you more on this. But what we can say for sure at this time is a report from the Madison Police Department that there are multiple injuries from this school shooting. As you can imagine, all of the police that responded to this immediately, we had some shots from earlier in the morning, again, less than 50 minutes or so previously, showing the flashing lights, showing some of the response. But when it comes to actual information on what firefighters and police have found inside of that school, that is what we are still waiting to hear from the chief of police and from officials in the Madison area. But there you have some of the response. It looks like officers standing by the door there as they were dealing with this. Some parents that we heard from interviewed by our sister stations out in the Madison area said that they saw students coming from the building as well. So that would be good news for those parents, but it remains to be seen who exactly was injured and how many people have been injured. All we have to go on right now is that update from the Madison Police Department via Facebook saying that there were multiple injuries reported. We are staying with you here on Fox 6 and FOX6Now.com, as well as the Fox Local mobile app, trying to get you the latest from the state capitol, covering the entire state for you here from Milwaukee. But the story of the day, unfortunately, here in Wisconsin comes from the state capitol, where there continue to be reports of a school shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. Maybe if we can pop that map up there for you again, we can give you a sense, if you're not familiar with the state capitol, where exactly this is taking place. This is, again, on the east side. There you have the two prominent lakes, and right in the middle of them, of course, on the west side, the campus of the University of Wisconsin, as well as the state capitol building. This is happening more on the east side of town when you get out into some of the less populated areas of Madison, south of the main interstate interchange there of 94 and 90. This would be like on your way into town. You would pass by Buckeye Road and this school on the east side, Abundant Life Christian School. If you're just joining us here on Fox 6, we are awaiting a situation from the chief of police at a separate staging area. We have received word that the governor has also heard about this as well and have multiple crews here to cover this for you. A school shooting in the state capitol just on the east side of Madison with multiple injuries reported. As we continue to track things, we will tell you as much as we can from the chief of police. We are also trying to figure out for parents in the Madison area what they are supposed to be doing at this time. We have not received any word on where exactly those students were evacuated to, if any were able to get out of the school, where that kind of regrouping area and dismissal area will be for parents. But as we learn this different information, we will bring that to you as well. I imagine a lot of people here in the Milwaukee area know people in Madison, know people, either friends or family in the area, and certainly would want to relay that information also. This, again, just happened within the last hour or so. Our first reports came just before 11:30, as you see on the right side of your screen there. That is the chief of police for the Madison Police Department, Sean Barnes, who is expected to give us the update on this school shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. As he gets briefed by his staff and approaches the cameras, we will take this live now from Madison.
Thank you for coming and talk about how important the media is to our community. But the truth is, today is a sad, sad day, not only for Madison, but for our entire country, where yet another police chief is doing a press conference to speak about violence in our community, specifically in one of the places that's most sacred to me as someone who loves education and to someone who has children that are in schools. So I'm going to tell you what I know. I'll answer any questions that I can. There'll be a secondary briefing that our PIO will let you know about, okay? Today, around 10:57 a.m., our officers were responding to a call of an active shooter at the Abundant Life Christian School here in Madison. When officers arrived, they found multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds. We train on this almost quarterly. The last time we trained on this as commanders was approximately 2 weeks ago. The protocols are simple. Stop the killing, stop the dying, find out who's doing this. And the officers did that, and they did that adamantly. We had officers from around the county and around the state that came in support of this particular incident. Officers located a juvenile who they believe was responsible for this deceased in the building. Additionally, the officers began administering life-saving efforts to anyone who was wounded and making sure that those persons were transported. What we know is that a total of about 7 persons were transported from this scene to area hospitals for treatment. We know that at least 3 people have lost their lives, including a juvenile person. I don't have any other information about those persons who have lost their lives, and I'm not going to release that until we have, of course, spoken with family members and ensuring that they are fully aware of this tragic, tragic scene that occurred today. I want to thank all of the law enforcement partners and community members that came out to help, our friends at the ATF. I've gotten calls from my friends at the FBI, the State Patrol, the Sheriff's Office, Monona Police Department, our fire department. It goes on and on and on. Because this is something that we all prepare for, but we hope we never have to do. As you can see, we have a unification center that was immediately set up where parents and guardians and loved ones and grandparents wanted to get information about their loved ones, and we wanted to make sure that they were unified immediately. So we were doing more than one thing at one time. We're still going through methodically clearing that school, clearing every vehicle, and making certain that there's no other threats to this community, which we believe there are none. We immediately alerted our mayor's office, and I've been on the phone with her and her office constantly. We also alerted Madison schools. We put the schools on lockdown, but there's no threats to MMSD schools at this time. But we wanted to make sure that we did our due diligence in this particular case. Again, we're still going through collecting evidence, collecting information, making sure that our community is safe from what is a sad day for our community and for our country. And we have to do a little bit better. I don't have all the answers that you want right now, but I will tell you this. We have some of the best officers in the entire country. Our detectives are amazing. We're going to go and work hard and go through this scene so that we can piece together what exactly happened. Again, there'll be another briefing in about 2 hours, and if I have additional information, I will certainly let you know what that information is. Again, around 10:57 a.m., officers responded to an active shooter. They responded per our protocol. They found the person who they believe was responsible, who was down, deceased. We know that it's juvenile. We know that there are other persons who have lost their lives. We know that we've transported about 7 people after giving them life-saving measures. It's important to notice, too, that about 3 miles from here is our training center. Today, our special event team medics were in training. And so they got to practice in real time. They left the training center immediately and came down here and doing in real time what they were actually practicing for. And that's why training is so important, and making sure that we can provide the best possible training and the best possible response for our community members. I'm asking everyone to send your heartfelt wishes and prayers and thoughts yet again to a community, but this time it's my community. Dylan?
Yeah, can we start over here with questions?
Chief, you mentioned you're a father, you're the police chief here in Madison. What emotions are you feeling right now after going through all that?
To be honest with you, I'm feeling a little dismayed now. I'm so close to Christmas. Every child, every person in that building is a victim and will be a victim forever. And these types of trauma don't just go away. And we need to figure out and try to piece together what exactly happened. And right now, my heart is heavy for my community. My heart is heavy for Madison, and we have to come together as a community and figure out what happened here and make sure that it doesn't happen in any other place that should be a refuge for students in our community.
You're right there.
What sort of gun-related policies, if any, were in place at the school, and did the school have metal detectors?
I'm not aware that the school had metal detectors, nor should schools have metal detectors. It's a school. It's a safe space. So I don't know. Again, it is a private Christian school. It is not under the authority of MMSDs, and that is something that we would have to look into.
Chief, of the 7 victims, how many are students? How many are teachers?
I'm not going to give any information about who the victims are, whether they're students, staff, or parents, because we need to make sure that we can notify people. I think that's the most important thing before we go any further.
But police they never fired their weapons.
That is correct.
Correct.
Let's follow
I
that one.
I don't know if it's a male or a female, but the police department did not fire their weapons. Thank you.
Scott.
Are there 3 fatalities you mentioned, including the suspected shooter?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
So 3 total.
That's correct.
Are the 7 that was transported, are the 3 fatalities within that 7 or addition to that?
Yes, within that 7. Yes, thank you.
Was the shooter a student at the school?
We believe the shooter was a student at the school. Yes.
What can you tell us about the status of the other transports?
We know that they range from minor injuries to life-threatening. I know that's a huge, spectrum, but that's what we know now. And so we need everyone, again, to send your thoughts and your prayers out to them. One thing I do know is that we have some of the best medical care in the country here in Madison. And so we hope that everyone will recover. But at this time, we don't know.
So we did just get an update from our command post. 5 deceased at this time, 5 injured.
So a total of 10.
So a total of 10.
Again, this is a ever evolving situation. Just hearing that, what does that make you think? How does that make you feel? That we have to do a better job in our community on a Monday, right? So close to Christmas, that we're updating victims. And so there's a lot of work that has to be done. And we're committed to doing that work. We just ask for your patience. I think the most important part is the reunification, again, that we spoke about, making sure that those persons who were in the schools, whether they're staff, students, or what have you, are reunified, and we have done that. Again, I want to say thank you to all our partners. Again, our friends are here from the ATF. They're going to help us. I heard the question about the gun. I don't know yet, which is why we have a great partnership with the ATF that will help us determine the origin of this gun and where it happened. So I'm going to leave it at that, and we will have another press conference. Stephanie has the location.
We're doing 2:30 at Fire Station 14 in their community room. 2:30, Fire Station 14.
Steph,
Okay.
can you confirm the 5 who are dead? Does that include the shooter?
That does include
It
the
would.
shooter.
Are the
Yes,
victims
it was.
students, teachers, a mix?
Yeah, again, we're not going to talk about that until we notify all the families that may be involved. Again, this is an
17-year-old girl,
ever evolving situation, and we're trying to figure it out. What did you say,
Has the
man?
school been cleared? Are all the students out of the school?
The school has been through a secondary clearing. We're doing another one now with the help of bomb dogs, just in case. We want to clear vehicles and things of that nature. So we're going to take our time, and we're going to go through, and we're going to do everything that we can. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Okay?
Thank you.
Fire Station 14 in the community room.
You've been listening to the Chief of Police for the Madison Police Department give a heartbreaking update from the latest school shooting in America. 5 people are dead from Abundant Life Christian School, including a juvenile shooter who the police chief said was a student at that school. There are also 5 people injured at local hospitals right now, with injuries ranging from minor to life-threatening. But again, the headline, 5 people, including the suspected shooter, a juvenile at that school, are dead in Madison. We will take you through some of the timeline that the chief of police just laid out for us this morning from Madison. He said his officers got a report for an active shooter at Abundant Life Christian School, a private school on the east side of town, at 10:57, just before 11 o'clock this morning, and responded to those reports of an active shooter. When officers got to the school, they found multiple victims with gunshot wounds. And as they worked their way through the hallways, they found what the chief of police said was a juvenile dead inside who they believe is responsible for this. And in some of the questioning there at the end of that news briefing, he clarified the suspected shooter was in fact a student at this private school. The update as well from one of his staff members towards the end there, what was initially believed to be 3 people, including the shooter, dead, has unfortunately now gone up to 5 dead, including the shooter. 4 people killed and the suspected shooter also dead after the events at Abundant Life Christian School this morning, and 5 others are still fighting for their lives at area hospitals in Madison, some with minor minor injuries, some life-threatening. What he would not say, and you can understand why, is whether or not those are students, whether or not those are children who have died and are injured, or whether or not they are staff members or some combination of the two. The police are still working to connect with families and make sure that they get that information first and foremost, whoever it is that is injured and dead from this shooting in Madison. As you can see, this is an active situation as the police are now trying to piece together exactly how this happened, and then we'll share more information in about 2 hours. But the chief of police called this a sad day for our community and our country. We are also getting reaction pouring in from the state capitol. Of course, the person who works at the top of government in the state of Wisconsin responding to this from Madison. Governor Tony Evers posted on X saying, quote, "I am closely monitoring the incident at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison. We are praying for the kids, educators, and entire Abundant Life school community as we await more information and are grateful for the first responders who are working quickly to respond." Another thing the chief of police said in that briefing is that a number of the other Madison schools went on lockdown as a result of this. Now, this school, Abundant Life Christian School, is not under the Madison School District. It's a private Christian school in the city. But the rest of the Madison School District did go on lockdown, although the police chief said there is known threats for the rest of those schools. This seems to be isolated to this private school in Madison. We are also hearing from our reporting partners who have gotten a chance to speak to some parents, as you can imagine, so worried about their children inside that school building. Let's listen in to one parent's response to this morning's shooting.
Yeah, it's something that you pray. I mean, I pray with my kids every morning that this won't happen, and it's the world that we live in, and but God is good, God is gracious, and my kids are safe, my family's safe.
And that is the case for that mother and that family, but unfortunately not for others. Again, the reports from the chief of police in Madison, 4 people were killed, and the juvenile, a student at Abundant Life Christian School that police believe to be the shooter, is also dead, bringing the total to 5 other people. And we don't know whether these are kids, staff, or other adults are still injured at local hospitals in Madison. We will cover this for you throughout the day here on Fox 6. Unfortunately, the latest school shooting in America comes from our state and from our capital city. We have multiple crews in Madison reporting on this story for you, and we'll bring you the latest on Fox 6 News at 4, as well as on the Fox Local mobile app. And we will bring you that next briefing as well. The police chief said 2:30 or around there is when we can expect the next update from the chief of police in Madison after a school shooting at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison. For now, we will take a break and return you to regularly scheduled programming here on Fox 6.